how's it going?
Good, Megan. How about you?
I'm doing fine. They just replaced the lights here in my office, and it's very, very bright, and I'm not quite sure how I feel about it. It's like the brightest I've ever been in the office.
That's
Like I'm in an
like bright
operating room or
LEDs.
something. Yeah,
Ugh,
yeah.
hate that
Oh
feeling.
my gosh. So I was reading an article this week, and it said that there are 242 cities in the U.S. where the entry level home is the lowest. It's at $1 million, so it's $1 million plus for an entry level home. And California has 105 of those cities. So out of 242 in the whole U.S., California has 105. So that's kind of bananas thinking about buying your first home at $1 million or more. How much was your first home? Do you remember?
It was a lot of money. It was like I think 135,000.
That's how much our first house was. It was 135,000. We had to
So it's a lot more
scrape
now.
together the down payment. It was FHA, so it was 3%, and then there was like $6,000 in closing costs, and how are we going to make this $1,100 payment every month? But here we are. First-time homebuyers' houses at $1 million or more. Now, before you get scared away, the audience that is that I just opened escrow today on a first-time homebuyer's house in Riverside. Lovely neighborhood. It's a historic neighborhood next to shopping. It's just lovely for $630,000. So don't get scared by headlines. Once again, the headlines are made to, keep you consuming that information.
Keeps you in a state of fear.
Yeah, but if you go a little further out, you can still get yourself a house. So, and you can always buy a townhouse or a condo, closer to these centers where things are in such demand, just to get your foot in the door. But let's go over it. So, there's a couple of points that we're going to make here. So the first one is why the fixer uppers are not really turning into a first time home buyer purchase anymore. Buyers, they have money to increase their loan amount so that they can purchase something that is move-in ready, and that is what they're looking for. And investors are still looking for the fixer-uppers because they have the people that know how to fix things up. They have the capital available to fix things up, and they look forward to bringing that product back to the market so that those home buyers will pay top dollar for improved properties, for sure.
That's the way to go. I mean, the idea used to be that you talk to first-time buyers, for example, they thought like a fixer-upper would be like a good deal. They just don't exist anymore.
Right.
Because a fixer-upper is pretty much the same price as a house is turnkey in most cases.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a situation out there, especially because there's a lot of investor competition amongst themselves because they need to keep their crew busy and they need to keep money moving and growing and all this kind of stuff for their own business. And so the fixer-uppers, they're hard to find. When you do find them, there is a lot of competition, and it's very rarely any first-time home buyers. They are looking for finished, move-in ready, with all the bells and whistles that people like to have in their homes nowadays. So that is why we're not going to find a lot of fixer-uppers for first-time home buyers.
Right. Yeah, 100%.
Now, people are saying, this is the common response I get when I tell people how much a first-time home buyer house is now. They say, how are these people affording these houses? And so, Rick, how are people affording these houses? How are they coming up with down payments? Are there any tricks or tips with how to layer things to get yourself into your first-time house?
Well, actually, a great question. There's a lot of things we're doing right now. As the market has shifted the past year or two, we're seeing some more things come into play with respect to financing. I have a couple things they're doing right now. One is called Payment Flex.
Mm.
And under Payment Flex, the buyer gets a choice of either one, a lower rate for the first 12 months.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea behind that is, we talked to a lot of buyers that are waiting for rates to drop to make a move. Well, with Payment Flex, they can actually get tomorrow's rates today and get into the house at a much more affordable payment. And so we're seeing that under Payment Flex, Megan, the average savings is right around $400 a month in the first 12 months of the mortgage.
Mm.
Now, for some buyers, they might be tighter on cash rather than maybe the payment.
Right.
So they have under that Flex program, they have the option of either the lower rate for the first 12 months or a cash benefit toward closing costs,
Mm-hmm.
which is also very helpful. On the other side of the fence, for buyers looking in the lower price ranges, we have a grant program. It's called Cash Before Keys. Under
Right.
Cash Before Keys, the buyer gets the down payment money as a grant. So let's say, for example, they're buying a house with the FHA financing, but they've got some closing cost money or a little bit, but they haven't really got any down payment. Under Cash Before Keys, we actually fund the entire down payment at closing.
Mm.
The beauty of that program, though, Megan, unlike other types of programs that are similar, that down payment money is forgiven 100% the day of closing. So there's not a lien against the property. It's not a second mortgage. It's not a silent second. It's none of that. It's purely just forgiven the day of closing. So if the down payment, let's say, for example, is $18,000, that $18,000 is applied toward the down payment, but it is also the day of closing is forgiven. They don't have to pay it back.
Mm-hmm.
So we're doing a lot of that right now. So we have a couple. I have actually several right now. All the deals we're doing right now, for the most part, are either the Payment Flex or the Cash Before Keys, because both of those are very, very important in terms of saving money up front and making the home more affordable.
Right.
Seeing a lot of that.
Well, that definitely helps. Anything helps, and those sound like some pretty good aggressive programs.
They are pretty aggressive.
Yeah, another way to just get your foot in the door, because sometimes people get, a cog in the wheel here, that they think that they have to spend the $1 million to get into their first house. And so then they're trying to save money, because they're hell-bent on having, a 20% down payment or whatever the situation is. But meanwhile, the market is even conservatively, if it increases $5,000 a year, on $1 million house, now it's $1,050,000. So it's like you're
5%,
really
yeah.
not going to be able to save at the speed that the market is appreciating. So sometimes
Yeah.
a good plan is just to get your foot in the door and find something that is affordable, that might not be your first dream home, but it could be a home that makes sense, it's comfortable for you, that really you need to plan on living in that home unless there's even more surge in home values, which hopefully there won't be. Hopefully it'll be steady. But you got to plan on staying there about 5 years to make some really good equity, because when you sell, you're going to spend some of that equity to sell. You're going to pay realtor fees and closing costs and whatever else you have to do to pay things off to get to the next house. But if you stay there for 5 years, you should have some pretty nice equity that you'll be able to do all that and add on to the equity you already had when you purchased it with your down payment, and have a bigger down payment for the next house number 2. That's how it used to be, though. People always used to start in a simple house and then move their way up to the house that they really, really wanted.
Right. Well, you're right about that. I think it's really overall a mindset, because by nature we want the biggest house, we want the nicest house, and it's always a little bit out of the price range. And we fall into this trap of thinking, well, if the rates go down or property values go down, all these things that are in their mind that could possibly happen, and they sit on the sidelines waiting for that to happen. And we've seen it so many times, and it's so disappointing that they've lost $100,000, $200,000 in equity, and the house prices gets further and further away from them. So, but on the other hand, we've seen a lot of buyers who go, you know what, I get it. Let me get into a house for now. I know it's not perfect, but 3 to 5 year plan, especially if they're buying like a lower price, smaller home or a condo, that type of property. Almost 100% of the time, within 5 years, they're like, hey, time to go. And then now they got the huge equity, and they've got used to being a homeowner, and now the next transition seems a lot more seamless than the first time. So we're seeing that a lot. So I think it's really a matter of mindset, because sometimes we talk to buyers and they want something that doesn't exist, and we want to help. We want to help so bad. But you got to be really reasonable about what to expect in the market and how to take the next step forward.
Right. And then, just a note on the market in general. Right now it's June. June is kind of a funny time every year. That you've got, graduations, you've got Father's Day, people are going out on their first vacation of the summer, that sort of thing. So June could be really hit and miss. But for a lot of home sellers, it's the last push to get their house sold during the summer before school is in session and that sort of thing. Because around here, we know school starts the first week of August. So June, July, this is sort of the last push. And so you're going to find a little bit more inventory out there as a buyer with some motivation with the sellers. So I think, it's intimidating, the market sometimes, but there's some good programs. Get into what you can get into now, even if it's like a 5-year plan. And just understand that the market right now is in its final push before fall. And you might be able to find some pretty good deals out there, something you'd be happy with.
Yeah, you're right. And I see that a lot more right now. I've got 2 transactions in escrow right now under the cash before keys program. And in both of those cases, they're really, the down payment money is given to them, and the seller's paying their closing costs in both those cases. And I think in one of the examples, the buyer's actual cash to close is less than $1,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and he's thrilled. And he really thought he couldn't buy a house.
Right.
So it's out there. You have to just, I think in this market, we have to have an open mind to what's available. And both these buyers in these examples they're young first-time buyers, and they get it. Okay, look, we'll buy this house, we can get into it now, it won't cost us a lot. In 5 years, we'll be out to the next house, and it'll be a lot more comfortable. So it does work.
Yeah, I agree. Well, good, Rick. Well, I appreciate it. And if you're a home buyer and you're having a frustrating time right now and you want some advice or you want us to cover something next week, just send us a message, and we will be happy to address your concerns. Thanks, Rick.
Thank you, Megan.